If you do not know why, you can say that you know what you want. Yeah, I know exactly what I want, but if you don't know why, you don't actually know. So 2019, I'm coming off the ass end of a failed software business. From there, I had to get into SEO. I needed to make money, so I started doing SEO deals. Awesome. But I did it wrong. I started chasing the hard niches. There's a lot of, I could do a whole conversation about how I did that incorrectly. Fast forward 2019, I tried to do pay-per-lead. Then I'm adding all these services. I'm selling swag. I'm selling Go High Level software. I'm doing some social media stuff. I'm building websites. I'm doing social media consulting. I don't know who's paying me because I don't even know what I was doing. I had all this stuff going on. It's 2019 and I am at my wit's end because although I was paying the bills, I'm sitting here going, I was making this much money or more being a door-to-door salesman. And I didn't have employees and I didn't have to worry about this and that and the whole deal. What am I doing, man? And I looked around and all these different groups and programs that I was a part of, all the people that I saw that I knew that were making money were not actually doing the model. The people that were making the money were the person that owns the group or were the person that sells the program. And I'm sitting here going, I'm in the wrong spot, dude. I'm like a student and like, I don't know anybody in this program doing like legit numbers. All the legit people are making their money by selling it, not by doing it. So I'm sitting there in 2019. I'm like, Nick, you can't be making 8 to 10 grand. You're working way too hard. What do we need to change? I'm always like, hey, look at the people that are making money and go do what they do. So you know what I said? I said, man, maybe I just need to be a salesperson. I need to go sell someone's program. That's the solution. Because besides the person that's running the program I am, the only people making money are actually the ones that are selling it. So what did I do is I hit up the sales guy and I said, hey bro, I want to work. I want to sell. I like put people on my calendar. I'll show up. I'll get them into the program. Like how hard can it be? I've actually made money doing this. I haven't made millions yet, but I can sell this. And so I went like legitimately into deep conversations. We were talking commission structure. We were talking about what the schedule would look like. We were talking about all these things. And I was very much not only contemplating, but I was going to do it. I had no clarity in my life. I was making money, but not enough, dude. It was like 8 to 10 grand. I was barely squeaking by. And 8 to 10 grand, dude, that was worth way more than it is today. But I had kids and I had a wife and I had car payments and a house payment. Long story short, guys, somebody that I knew that I was listening to or following, they basically said exactly what I'm going to say to you today. And they said, do you know what you want? Can you answer the question of what do you want? And I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, yeah. And I was like, a lot of you guys, I want to make 100K a month. I want to make 100K a month. Of course I know what I want. And this person explained, they're like, write down what you think that you really want and ask yourself why. And then once you get the answer to that, ask yourself why. And then once you find that answer, ask yourself why. And you need to go 7, 8, 10 levels deep until you figure it out. And then once you can get that clarity, everything changes. And I'm at this point, I'm like, dude, I'm willing to try anything at this point. So I remember it very clearly. I had basically almost agreed. Literally the person was waiting for me to text them and say, hey, let's go. And I was immediately going to start taking sales calls. That's how close I was because I thought that's the only way that I could make that money. So I remember so clearly, I went up to my office, I turned off the computer, I put down my phone, I put it on silent, and I didn't set a timer. I just took the afternoon and said, I don't care how long it's going to take. I am not leaving this office until I figure out exactly what it is that I want and why I want it. And I wrote, the very first thing that I did is exactly what a lot of you guys are writing right now. And that's exactly what I said. I put, what the fuck do you want? And I put the word fuck in all caps because I was pissed off. I'm tired of not knowing. That's what I wrote at the top of this legal pad. And I wrote underneath it, the very first thing that came to my mind, because it's a thing that I've been thinking about for so long, is I wrote $100,000 per month. And I was like, great, we're one layer deep. Then I said, why? Why do you want that, Nick? And that's when the work started. And I sat there and I went, I don't know. Why do you want 100K? Like, what's so special about 100K? And what do you want to do with it? And why is it like, that's the goal instead of this other thing? And I answered that. And then I was like, okay, we'll figure that out. And then I'm like, okay, let me go again. And then it's like, okay, well, the answer to that is, okay, well, why? And I kept going. And I think it was about 2 hours is what it ended up taking me. And I remember like being so exhausted from this exercise, but also had so much clarity by doing this. Long story short, guys, is I figured out like by doing this, this isn't about what I want because who gives a shit? Like everyone cares about themselves. I'm just telling you, it wasn't even about the money. It never has been. It never will be. Like guys, when you hear me talking about $1 million a month, I don't give a fuck about the money. I really don't. I understood about myself by doing this that it's never been about the money. As long as my stuff's taken care of and I can buy the cool shit I want to buy, it isn't about having the money. For me, it's literally about the chase. It's about the game. It's about, hey, I'm going to make $1 million a month, and making that's the most outrageous claim ever. Who are you from a small podunk town with a high school education, Nick Wood, and going and saying, oh, I'm going to show myself and everybody else. That's what it is for me. I figured that out and I was like, okay, cool. That's great. Awesome. 100K is arbitrary. 100K is not, there's not something special I can buy at 100K, but that's how I tick. And if I don't hit that 100K, I'm not going to scratch an itch. I'm telling you guys all this because that doesn't mean that's how you have to be. I don't want you to be that way. It's just how I operate. And by doing this, I realize I have to hit these things because that's what makes me live. And me going and deciding to sell for somebody else because of this, that, or the rest will not scratch that itch. And so by doing that, I sat there and went, well, first of all, it's not going to scratch the itch. But secondly, I'm never going to get to $100,000 a month being someone's salesperson. I just will not. I sat there and I went, dude, I have to own the thing. I have to be in business for myself. The path to getting to 100K, it doesn't go through working for somebody else. And guys, I really wanted to just do the sales thing. I was good at sales. I've always been decent at sales. And the thought of just showing up on a Zoom call and being able to do a sales call and making money was amazing. Like not having to worry about clients and not having to worry about employees and not having to worry about ads and all this different stuff. I was like, that sounds amazing. And if we could just put this many appointments on my calendar and I don't have to even worry about it. I wanted to say yes to that gig, but after doing this, I realized, dude, you can't. If you do that gig, you will never be able to do this thing that you wrote down, this thing that actually is your why and that drives you. And this $100,000 a month, even though it's an arbitrary bullshit number, you ain't gonna hit it, dude. You're not going to hit it unless you're in business for yourself, and not just in business for yourself, but you have assets. You're building assets that are recurring assets. It's an internet business, it's scalable. And I sat and I looked and I go, Nick, you are an absolute dumbass. This is the business model that can take you there. Rank and Rent is the business model that can take you there. And yes, you haven't had that good of luck. And yes, clearly pay per lead is not the game because you've been trying that. And SEO is not the game because it ain't scaling. But this has all the check marks. If it's not this, what's it going to be? And that's when I realized in 2019, I went on a cruise with my in-laws and my wife, and I made a decision on that cruise. I'm like, I don't want to admit this, but I have to figure this out. It was the harder decision because now I had all these variables. I didn't have the Nick Wood with a YouTube channel on Mondays that's dropping nuggets and showing you exactly how and why and what niches and this and that of exactly how he got to millionaire status by doing the business model. I didn't even know if it was possible because I didn't have anyone in those groups, in these programs I was in, that were doing it from the model. No one was actually making the money digging the gold. Everyone is making the money selling the picks and the shovels and the sandwiches and the hotel rooms. And so that's why I was so confused. But I looked at it and went, this has to be it, because I don't have a program. I don't know what kind of program to start. I haven't even had success in this. So guys, in 2019, by answering these questions, and I still have that paper, and by having that clarity, then I was able to go and say, all right, now that I know this, the only option is this. And so what I'm saying to you guys, for those of you that are already in the game, but you're not where you want to be, I'm speaking to you guys first because you guys need to figure out what is it? What is the number you're trying to get to? And then you need to figure out why. And those of you that haven't started, I want to know what you want and look at what you want and then figure out why. And what you're going to find, and I don't know if this is going to be the case for every one of you, but I bet you with 99% of you, you're going to realize that whatever that thing is, doing this model and scaling this model is the very thing that's going to allow you to get there.